Let's get the top the headlines. We see top crypto exchange, that's Coinbase, that's based in the US. We see their shares are down on rumors that the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, that's a global leader in derivatives trading and clearing, is planning to introduce spot Bitcoin trading. So that's impacted the Coinbase shares there in the US market. Then we see Bitcoin dominance, that surged. This time, that's a measure of Bitcoin share of the entire cryptocurrency market. That's increased from 46% to about 54%. So we're seeing Bitcoin dominance there increasing in the market. Then we see crypto whales have moved 283 million XRP tokens at this time, and that's according to some on-chain data. So investors are wondering, where's all that going to? Is it going to be sold in the market, which will definitely impact the price? So those are the top headlines right there in the crypto space at this time. Well, crypto platforms, that's talking about regulation. They're facing stiff reception from regulators in most countries like Nigeria at this time, from delisting of the Naira on their platforms to the issues in the FX market, blaming that on that P2P market. Well, joining us now is Nathaniel Luz. He's the CEO of FlintCap, and Nathaniel is joining us right here in the studio. Great to have you, Nathaniel.
Thank you. Nice to be here, Ladi.
Yeah, so definitely it's all about regulation, and this was actually seen in 2023, 2022, when we're talking about the crypto industry. There was always that talk that regulation would come hard on this industry. Yeah. And right here in Nigeria, we're just seeing that playing out at this time. So talk to me about balancing innovation, because this industry is seen as an innovative industry, and regulation. Where do we get that fine line between the two of them?
So the thing is, right, if we do not allow innovators to innovate, we won't see all the beautiful things we see in technology that we really do love. When the Wright brothers invented the first airplane, there was no flying regulations. Do you understand? So the way it is innovation is about doing new things, right? You can see Starlink, ability for people anywhere in the world to get internet by just putting a small mast on their roof, So if we begin to say, oh, everybody has to get a license, everybody has to do this, we begin to stifle innovations. And there's a reason why it looks like some countries are advancing in terms of technology, in terms of inventions, and some other countries are laid back. It's simply because some people operate in a framework where they're allowed to think freely. That's why I usually tell people that, jokingly, that Yaba no be Silicon Valley, because those are two different frameworks, right? Now, regulations now catch up with innovations over a period of time. So the regulators begin to learn and see, because innovators are doing things differently. And when we look at crypto, the entirety of the whole crypto thing is less than 20 years old. Bitcoin is just about 15 years or so. And if you try to use the regulations of the closest industry, which is banking and finance, to do crypto, you would run into issues, because banking and finance is like, it's been existing for centuries. So we can't just copy and paste on something that's like, it's Abu,
But it's definitely not easy, managing technology like cryptocurrency, where you can just send money from one place to the other at low cost, and at the same time those transactions might not be seen by everybody. You don't know who is sending what. So definitely there's that negative aspects of cryptocurrency, and definitely that's why we see the regulators, they're trying to protect users at this point.
There's protection and there's stifling. You understand? And all innovative spaces have to do with trust. Like I said to you the other day, there's a reason why most startups all over the world want to incorporate in Delaware, even though they've never been to Delaware. It's because they trust the system of the US government regarding startups, right? They can come and say, if A happens, B will happen. If they sue a US company, there's no issue whether you are maybe from Zimbabwe or from Nigeria or something, they would get justice. Right? Now, the SEC in Nigeria has brought out regulations for crypto, which is very good. But with the way the CBN is going too hard on crypto, people are beginning to say, should we actually get this license? Because the license is quite pricey. We're talking to the tune of hundreds of millions of Naira. So
to get a license to operate a cryptocurrency platform in Nigeria.
Yeah, currently.
How much are we looking at?
Hundreds of millions, laddie.
Right.
So, and people are beginning to say that if we invest this amount, what are we getting back? Is the environment stable enough in terms of regulations for us to invest this in getting the license?
So what we're seeing with Binance at this point, how's that impacting, how investors out there, are looking at, investing in Nigeria at this point? That's in that crypto industry.
Yeah, Binance, first off, is a very great country because Binance was technically, according to me, the biggest financial platform in the world, according to reach, right? So when you look at banks in Nigeria, you see banks in their national banks, the regional banks, their microfinance banks, and globally you see a couple of international banks. But it's hard to find one bank that has users in like 50 countries. And Binance actually surpassed that, offering financial services to people in multiple countries at the same time. So there's no way you're going to do that and you won't run afoul into a couple of rules in a couple of countries. Like they're currently having issues in the US, having issues in Nigeria and all of that, right? But now, it now has to do with where do we find the line? Where do we work with them and say, hey, you guys are doing this, and this. This is how to do it properly. We've had this issue in banking, even in Nigeria. And there was a time when Nigerian banks would fold up and your money was gone. Ask our parents, they'll tell you. But now we have structures in banks in which the CBN doesn't even need to go and do, we want to ban this bank. They just remove the board of directors. They just do things. We saw what happened with Oceanic. The government steps in and, we see bank recapitalization, Soludo 2006. We're seeing it again happening with Cardoso, So we have all of those things in place. That is what we have to keep doing crypto. We don't have to throw away the baby with the bathwater. And this whole Binance thing, technically, we might say it's making people, it's chaotic. So it's making people stand off. Like everybody just wants to say, should we give these guys another 1 year, 2 years to see what's going to happen before we step in? But I also think that another thing that happens in chaos is wealth transfer. So the smart guys are building in the chaos. Do you understand? Such that when everything stables, some people will be at the top of the Premier League table.
Everyone else.
Exactly.
Definitely.
For those who dare to build in chaos.
Quite interesting. It's still a developing story at this time. We'll keep tracking to see at some point if there's some kind of consensus when it comes to regulation and innovation, especially from the crypto space. Thank you so much. It was great having you, Nathaniel Liu, CEO of FlinkCap. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Larry. Thank you.